words and then bring her up. All right, so our next speaker is Amma Ajapong. Yay! Also known as the Inclusion Lady. She is the CEO of Inclusion Enterprises. She is a speaker, master facilitator, certified EEOC investigator, and talented senior level consultant with 15 years of progressive leadership experience in human resources, strategic planning, program development, and employee engagement. Whew, that's a lot. I love it. Accomplished. I love it. I love it. With an MBA in global management, her mission is to help organizations build inclusive, feedback-driven workplace cultures where people and performance thrive. So, with no other words or descriptive words, let's bring up Alma. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello. Good afternoon. How are you feeling? Great. I feel the energy in the room. It feels like we're maybe at a 6 or 7 out of 10. So 6, 7. Oh my gosh. I have a 7-year-old at home, so if I did set you up for that, he will be proud. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Bishop. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. I know I'm the last one, right? So we gotta kick this thing off with a bang. So get ready to have some fun, yes? Okay, awesome. So a little bit more about me. I'm not gonna talk about my credentials. You got to it before I did. I am a millennial boy mom. He is my world. He's 7 years old. We do all the fun things. And I have a baby boomer mom and a 92-year-old traditionalist grandmother. So what does that mean? I get a lot of practice and feedback. Giving it and most definitely receiving it, okay? So life has been fun. They are my support system. And one reason I mention that is because I feel like parenting is one of the highest forms of leadership. So when you hear me say leader today, it does not mean you have this fancy title. It doesn't mean you're this Fortune 50 CEO running multi-billion-dollar company. It means you're leading yourself. It means you're leading your family. It means you're leading your communities. And it means you're leading your teams, okay? Your volunteers. So I don't care about titles, just throw it out. And we are the leaders, okay? Another thing is I am not a motivational speaker. I motivate, but I do want to encourage and I want to inspire some confidence. Because here's the thing that I know. A lot of people don't like to give feedback. And in what you all do, feedback is so very necessary. So that's what we're going to talk about today. A little bit about my company, remove behavior barriers, create feedback-driven workplace cultures, have a lot of fun doing it, having courageous and hard conversations, and leading out with better understanding on the other end. And here is what I'm asking for you all. I know, I just met you, and you're like, you already asking me for something? I am. So please participate, listen to learn, because you might hear something like, I already know that. Great. Help someone else know it. And then last thing, please, let's have some fun, okay? Please participate. Heavy on the participate, okay? All right, so what we're going to talk about today, we are going to talk about feedback. And my goal for today is that you have the confidence to walk away and have that conversation. You know, that person you've been avoiding? That person that gets on your nerves and even when they walk in the door, you're like, rumbling under your breath? Yeah, I want you to go have that conversation through the framework that we learned today. So if we are in agreement that after we hang out for the next, hour-ish, y'all like, maybe less than an hour, I got it. So after we hang out, do we commit to going to have a conversation? Yes? Yes. That sounds so dry. Yes? Yes. Okay, that's so much better. Awesome. So here's the thing. I'm about to ask you all a question, but this is what typically happens. We are in two camps. Either we don't like conflict, so we avoid it at all costs because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We don't know how we're going to come off. lean into that discomfort to have the conversation. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, so I wanna hear you all say, have the conversation. Let me hear you.
Have the conversation.
Yes, have the conversation. But you know, I hear things all over the place. I don't like this, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, I don't know how to come on, but I want to hear from you. Why are people hesitant to give constructive feedback? And I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm asking for a friend, okay? So why? This is me also thanking. Yes.
Because usually it's unsolicited.
It's unsolicited. I love that. Thank you. What?
You take this name.
It can be taken as negative? Yes.
You don't know how the person's going to react. You
Don't know how they're going to react. It's like, ooh, are you emotionally mature enough for this? And do I have the capacity to deal with your response? Yeah, never heard. Yeah. Yes, okay. My mom says that. People take things so personal. Ooh. I feel attacked. No. He said, especially those millennials. Wow. So yes, thank you for that. You don't know how people are going to take it. But what I have learned is when we think about not sure how they're going to take it, not sure if they have the emotional capacity, not sure if we have the emotional capacity, not sure if they're just going to be too sensitive, the foundation of that is a relationship. So when we talk about building relationships, I have a story. I was an HR leader for a Fortune 50 retailer. And while I was that HR leader, we would get new people. So I got a new supervisor from another place, same company, but another place. And I got the rundown. Has that ever happened to you all? You get the whole rundown of this person and it was everything negative. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to inherit this person. Why didn't they just terminate them, right? So the first thing I did, I said, I'm going to go at this from a clean slate because I know what it feels like. So I took them out to lunch. Let's say her name was Claire. I took Claire out to lunch. Why did I take Claire out to lunch? Well, because BBC has done a research on the neuroscience behind sharing a meal. And so when you share a meal with someone, guess what happens? The brain releases all this oxytocin and all of this dopamine and it's telling you to bond, bond, bond. And so that's what we did. We shared a few meals. And when we were sharing those meals, I didn't ask anything about work. I wanted to know who she was. I wanted to know what was Claire's motivation, right? Write this down. You don't need to know why they have the job, because the why is probably they want the paycheck. You need to know what that paycheck will help them accomplish. That's when you get to what their motivations are. Even if you have volunteers, why are you volunteering? What is this helping you accomplish? Because that is when you learn more about what their internal motivations are. And so after sharing a few meals and just getting to know Claire, I had some one-on-ones with her. Now, how many of you do one-on-ones? Okay, you didn't sound very happy about that one-on-one. You are, but I do it. So when you're having one-on-ones, you should have three types of one-on-ones. One is a personal one-on-one. The second is performance one-on-one or professional. And the third is aspirational. Personal, just get to know them. Get to know how they tick. If someone has a personal aspiration with me, personal conversation, they're gonna know, yep, as soon as I leave here, I gotta take the little one to wrestling, and then we have to do Spanish, and then homework. You're gonna know what makes me tick. Professional, that's when we're talking about those goals. What are the goals? What are the objectives? What events are we putting on? What are the logistics? Who are the stakeholders? How are we having these conversations? What's the timing? What's the metrics? How can you improve? What's going well? Uncover the barriers. But then that last one is very important because that is you understanding what their aspirations are. Career-wise or outside of this place, how can you help them reach their goals? Because now you're positioning yourself as a resource. Now, when we're having these one-on-ones, I noticed something. Going back to having one-on-ones with Claire, the company I worked for provided packets, gave me everything. But I didn't like it. I was like, these questions are not that great. So I created my own questions because I wanted to get a deeper understanding. So these are some of the questions that I have created because I'm fascinated by curiosity. I am fascinated by the art of questioning. So I'll read different things, I'll listen to podcasts and write down questions, have a running log. So these 4 questions is something to help you get to know someone a little bit beyond what you see on paper. So, remember I said participate? I would love for us to ask each other these questions. I know you all know each other well, but we're going to have a few minutes to walk around the room, talk to each other, and ask each other these questions. So it's going to go like this. You're going to walk up to the person. Your name is Anna?
Anna.
Hi, Anna. I'm Amma. Introduce yourself. If you don't know them, don't be weird, right? Hi, Anna. I'm Amma. Nice meeting you. Question. Tell me something about yourself I can't get from a resume. And then Anna's going to tell me the response. And then Anna's going to ask me a question, and I am going to share. And then you move on to the next person. Questions. Oh, you know you're going to be working, huh? Yeah, let's go to work. All right, I invite you to stand with me, please. You're going to have a good 3 minutes, so move as quickly as you can. You can ask any question on this sheet, but just ask the questions, okay? We are getting started now. questions to ask each other. What did that feel like? I can take some
Pressure.
pressure. Oh,
Yeah.
why pressure?
Oh my goodness. So they thought of the middle.
Okay, who else? Yes.
I think it felt good. I think there was also sort of enlightening to myself. Like, it was the way that she answered her question gave me insight into maybe like how, I could be better as a coworker, as a partner to someone else. And then even when I answered my own question, it sort of was like a self-observation into like, wait a minute, and she asked a wonderful kind of follow-up of like, is that because of you being spread too thin, because people haven't seen this? Like, and it helped us almost dive into something that like, even is allowing me to go back to my leadership and be like, I figured out what the problem is. But, so it was nice. It was a really nice moment, and it helped us kind of continue to elaborate further.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Did anyone learn something like surprising or really cool about each other? Yes. Shout something out. Yeah, oh, I heard you. What did you learn? You don't have to say the person, but what did you learn?
There's a really great cat called Elevator.
That's the name of the cat? Elephant. That's a cute name.
They followed her friend onto the elevator and got out with the friend and just, they named her Elevator. Wow.
Oh, wow. That is cool. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Something cool? Yes.
I don't know if this is cool or disturbing, but the person that I spoke to, if she was a trust fund baby, would work for the IRS because she enjoys doing taxes.
Molly.
No judgment. That's different. That's pretty cool though.
Well, I had always wanted to do it, but when I went to go pursue it, it was like, oh, they don't get paid anything.
Right.
That was the first thing that came to my mind when he asked that question.
Okay, it's totally off script, but now I'm curious. What do you love about doing taxes?
It's a mental challenge, coming up with the right answer. I mean, because you've got to do this and that, and it's a lot of work.
So it's the mental challenge and it's a lot of work. So are there ways that you still get that mental challenge and a lot of work, even though I'm assuming you don't do taxes? Is that
I do not.
Okay.
Only once a year.
Okay. Yeah, do you get to find that stimulation in other ways?
Well, yeah, I'm a lifelong learner, so
Awesome.
I'll take classes or certificate courses. And,
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, everyone. Clap it up for yourselves. Oh, yes.
Just a thought, and it didn't come as an answer, but how difficult it can be to dote on ourselves,
Yes.
especially that last question.
Yes, me too.
Let me tell you something. Let's pause there, okay? When I am coaching leaders, especially women leaders, we have to spend time of them just acknowledging what their superpower is and acknowledging how they excel and how they're brilliant. And we have to spend time for them just doting on themselves or basically being like, I'm her, I'm that girl, and this is why. It's 10 reasons why. I'm running out of reasons, right? We struggle doing that. So I'm so happy you said that, because if you struggle with saying it, how can you say it in a way that is confident and believable to your boss when you want that raise? Right? How can you say it in a way that's confident and believable to your staff that is underestimating your knowledge because you're a millennial? Right? Let's think about that. So it's important to spend some quiet time to say, where do I excel? If we don't know, ask people that are close to you. What am I really good at? If you were stuck on an island, what would you call me for? Or would you call me at all? They probably would call me. But like, you're still on that island by yourself. But how am I a resource to you? Because then you learn to operate and exist in your superpower and in your brilliance. So thank you so much, everyone, for doing that exercise. Trust me, if you have teams, if you have friends, like, ask them some of these questions and see what comes up. So let's talk about the gift feedback framework. You see, I created this proprietary framework because I needed help. See, I used to be a really horrible boss, long story, horrible boss. Created a lot of exclusion in the workplace when I first started my leadership journey. Thought I was better than everybody, had all the degrees and none of the institutional knowledge, and didn't respect that. And then they took surveys, and the surveys were terrible, and almost lost my job, had to get my stuff together, like it's a whole thing. So, I was not the best at giving feedback. But over time, I said, what can I do every single time to be consistent and know how I can improve? But before I did that, I said, what is actionable feedback? Because there are a lot of studies that shows people's experience with feedback in the workplace. Whether it's high performers get some of the worst feedback. Yeah, because they're getting, you did such a great job, atta girl, atta boy, but never words to help them develop. And 50% of high performers are looking for other jobs. Or high-performing women. High-performing women, a study showed that high-performing women, 76% of high-performing women get negative feedback. Or you get personality-based feedback versus actionable performance-based feedback. So you're a great team worker, people love you, you're so nice, like that. How do you take nice to the bank? How do you use that to help improve the convention, to help improve the event, right? So I said, what is actionable feedback? So remember this, whether you remember a framework or not, it's examples to learn from and advice to act on. Examples to learn from, advice to act on. Has anyone ever given you feedback and you're like, oh, I do that? Can you give me an example as to how or why or when? And they're like, well, I don't have an example right now. Mm-hmm. Anyone ever experienced that? Yeah, me too. And so then it makes the feedback like null and void. It's just, you lose your credibility. So, examples to learn from, advice to act on. Now, there's a cultural competence element to this. See, we come from a Western culture. Western cultures tend to be low context cultures. So Western cultures like Germany, like the US, like France. And so with those low context cultures, we value individualism, we value being direct, right? But with high context cultures, they value harmony and politeness. So here's a story on how I messed up. Do you all want to hear? How we doing? We good? Yeah. Okay, all right, I do this with my kid. How was school? Thumbs up means school was great. Thumbs to the side, like, it was okay. Thumbs down, we probably had a red day and I'm gonna have to talk to the teacher, right? So I wanna know how we doing before I go into the story of how I royally messed up. Oh, okay, I even have to ask. Thank you. So I have one of my executive assistants is based in the Philippines. She started off really great. The Philippines, Asian culture, high context culture. AMA, low context culture. High context, want to maintain harmony. Low context, individualist, let's just get it done, okay? She started off really strong, and then she started to decline. So I was helping a friend put on a conference. She was doing the back of the scenes stuff. She created the agenda, forgot one huge gap in the agenda. Y'all can relate. So we have the speaker there, and I'm lining it up, and I'm like, I don't see the speaker on the agenda. Like, what's happening? Come to find out, she forgot it. Then she forgot to reach out to certain clients. Like, she was just royally messing up and dropping the ball. And so I had a conversation with her, and I was like, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. Like, typically you want to do, 3s. I did like 7. I pulled all the receipts. You did this, you did that, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. And she was mortified. You can see it on her face, but I was mad, so I didn't even pick up on the non-verbal cues. And then afterwards, she said, I'm so sorry, I'll make sure I do this and that correctly. And I said, no, you sound like a robot. I need to know how you feel. Here's the thing. High context culture. She's not going to challenge authority. She's not going to tell me how she feels until I invite her into the conversation. And so after telling her she sounded like a robot, I was still mad and in my feelings. So I said, you know what? You either helping me or hurting me. And people who hurt me don't work for me. Right. Right.
Not the millennials.
Exactly. And so after I calmed down, I did my 4, 7, 8s. I did some deep breaths because I'm like, okay, you're doing the most right now. I said, okay, what do we need to do so these mistakes don't keep happening? And that's when she opened up on how my communication was also impacting her job. Not as an excuse, but as a collaboration. But what I had to realize is being from a low context culture, talking to someone from a high context culture, I had to invite her into the conversation. I had to make sure she knew it was okay to challenge authority. And I had to understand that I use upgraders. Upgraders are words that intensify your message. So something like, oh my God, I will literally die. Like literally is an upgrader, right? Or I strongly suggest you fix that right away. Strongly is an upgrader, where she uses downgraders. Well, it was a little bit hard. I mean, I kind of wanted to tell you or ask you. And so those upgraders or downgraders really impact your message. So why am I saying this? Cultural competence is important when you're having the conversation. So if you're a very direct person like myself, I've learned to insert some downgraders into my message. If I am not a very direct person, then I'll use some upgraders, or I'll just remove the extra language from the conversation, okay? So that cultural competence is very important. Another thing is, remember, our words don't always mean the same as someone else's words. So try to just keep straight to the point. And straight to the point happens when you are using the GIFT feedback framework. So, how many of us are familiar with the sandwich method? Yeah, let's throw that sandwich away. Okay, it's spoiled, the meat's not real, let's just kick it in the trash, all right? Why? Because the sandwich method confuses the brain. The brain doesn't know, is this positive, is this negative, can I trust what you're saying? I don't know what, I don't know. And so then it starts to breed distrust because now every time that person hears something positive, they're expecting something negative, okay? So let's talk about the brain science behind the GIFT feedback framework. Let me hear you say, gain permission.
Gain permission.
Okay, gain permission. This is a way that you alert the brain you're about to receive some feedback. So you would say something like, hey, can I share an observation from the last meeting with you? Do you have time to speak? You want to give the adult the choice to choose, okay? They say yes, great, let's talk. They say no, that's okay. When in the next 48 hours can we talk? Because you still don't get this feedback, okay? So when in the next 48 hours? Now, if it's personal, it might take more time, right? But in the workplace, you want to give feedback within the first 48 hours. And so you ask them, then you're going to identify the facts. But to identify the facts, what do you have to do? Homework. You gotta figure out what those data points are. Because if you're not sure of the data point or the impact, then it's probably your personal preference. Okay? So you gotta figure out what is the data point. So for example, I noticed during the meeting today, you spoke over a colleague multiple times. I noticed. That's an observation. What's another way you can get a data point? You all tell me.
I observe.
You observe, so observation. What's another way you can get a data point? Experience. Numbers. I'm a numbers person. Yes. So those metrics. Anything else? Feedback that you're getting from a client, a participant, a constituent, right? And so when we're looking at data points, we're looking for patterns of behavior or metrics that support why you need to have the conversation. After that data point, so after identifying the facts, you must frame the impact. So tell the person why they should care. Typically, why they should care should not be us, unless it's a personal matter. But for professional matters, it should be the impact to the business, the impact to the participants, to the experience, to the event. And after you frame that impact, that's when you trigger collaboration. I'm going to pause here. When you trigger collaboration, it's important to add encouragement if it's warranted. So what I'm not saying is you're making up fake encouragement. Oh my God, you showed up today. Thank you, Helen. And no, we're not doing that. But if you know the person is trying, if you know they're better than that, if you know they care, like insert it there, all right? And so then you trigger collaboration. It's an open-ended question so you all can start co-creating the solution. So what does this look like? I had to have a conversation with one of my supervisors about attendance. Attendance is one of those things, it's kind of a non-negotiable to me. Like you either show up or you don't, you either come on time or you don't, okay? Once I start seeing a pattern of behavior, then, we're gonna have a conversation. So the supervisor was late continuously. I ran a report, I saw. In one quarter, they were late twice a week. Either late or called out. That's a lot. And as a result, since they were a supervisor, then their team's attendance was also awful because what are they modeling? So I had to have the conversation. What did I say? Let's call him Keith. Hey Keith, do you have a moment to talk about your attendance? He says, yes. Perfect. Keith, I ran a report and I noticed after running the report that over the last quarter, you've been late twice a week. Impact. As you know, this interrupts or disrupts business operations. And I also ran a report on your team. They have some of the lowest attendance in the district. See, you all, I didn't use labels. I didn't say, you unreliable, Keith. Because that does not give them a frame of what to improve. It's going to trigger the brain. Oh, amygdala. Amygdala's like that small dog. I don't know if y'all have small dogs, but small dogs are always the ones barking. Right? Like, oh my God. I had a big dog and the small dog's barking at the big, like, what are you going to do to the big dog, right? Well, that's our amygdala. Always barking, always ready, because it's sensing a threat. That threat is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight doesn't mean I'm going to chop you on your neck. Fight can also mean being angry or defensive or crying. That's a part of fight. Flight, I don't have time for this, and you walk away. Freeze, withdraw. You say nothing, okay. Whatever you want, all right. Fawn. Do you all know people that tell you everything you want to hear? Yes, okay, sure, I'll do that. Oh, great idea. And they do nothing. Yes? Like, you just said all that and you did nothing with the information? That's fine. So, if we know these are the amygdala responses, trigger collaboration, breathing, inserting encouragement, all of those things helps to calm the brain down. So that's why we don't use labels. Going back to Keith. So then I talked about the impact to the business, and then we inserted encouragement. Hey Keith, I know you've been here for a while, and I see you trying. I know you want to improve the operations here at this company, but your attendance is getting in the way. What can we do to help improve your attendance? Now, that was a situation where Keith told me, we saw it was really Tuesdays and Fridays that he was having attendance issues. We were able to shift his attendance, but that might not always be the case. But you don't know what you don't know, and that's the purpose of triggering collaboration. It's basically saying, my perception isn't reigning king. There might be something going on I don't know. There might be an obstacle that needs to be removed that I don't know, and that's the purpose of trigger collaboration. So I'm gonna pause there, because you all are about to do an activity. I'm gonna pause. What questions do you have about gaining permission, identifying the facts, framing the impact, and triggering collaboration? What questions do you have? Yes.
Does this always have to be a live conversation?
Yes. Shouldn't happen during text. Could happen over the phone, could happen virtually, but not via text message. And you can use this to manage up. So when you're managing up, you gotta remember, like, assume your boss has so much to do, assume they really care, assume that, that time is of the essence, and always be problem solving oriented. So I used to tell my team, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution. Let me know you've thought through it. Don't ask me to think through your problem, right? So you want to come to them with all of that, but still using the GIFT feedback framework. And the last thing I'll say before I take your question is, you can use this to celebrate someone. Okay, so again, another story. My kid in the mornings, he's a bit inconsistent, but he's been doing well for a while. And so one day I walked in and I was like, hey buddy, can I talk to you about how you've been doing in the mornings? He said yes. I said, awesome. I noticed for the last 2 weeks, you woke up, you woke yourself up. How about that? You woke yourself up, you made the bed, you got dressed, you even packed your snack. I am so proud of you. What can I do to keep this going? Oh, nothing, mommy, thank you, and gave me a hug. So here's the thing, the GIFT feedback framework works if you're ripping someone a new one, or if you are encouraging them, okay? All right, so, did you have a question? I thought I saw you raise your hand. No? Okay. Any questions about yes?
What happens if you fail to gain permission?
And you just go straight in?
No, what if they say, yeah, no, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't have time. Thank you, no. No notes at this time.
Got it. And are we saying like they never want to hear what you have to say, like ever, or not right now?
What happens if you say, can I share an observation with you, and they say no?
Perfect.
Okay.
No, that's good. Okay. So is that no like forever, or is that no right now? I would say just that. Absolutely. You don't want to hear it right now because they might not be in the space, right? And that's okay. They're still gonna get this feedback. So it's either now or it's two days from now, but you're gonna get it. So let's talk about when. So that's why I would ask, like, no, is no right now, like, are you not in the space for it? Or is no like forever? Because we're gonna have to have this conversation. Yeah, great question.
Are you talking about a coworker or a subordinate? Because if it's a subordinate and they say no, that's a whole other.
Honestly, I was thinking in the context of any relationship.
Oh.
Work, home.
Got
Yeah,
it.
it shouldn't matter. So even with your teams, you never know what they've gone through to get to work. If they report to you, it still doesn't matter. You still want to honor them saying yes or no, because your point is to be effective, not right. We want to be effective. So if right now is not the time and you'll hear me better later, perfect, let's do it. Yeah, great question. I saw something over here. Yes.
So what was going on Tuesdays and Fridays? Your story.
Oh, I don't even remember. I think it was something with like their significant other and they had to share a car and something like that.
Before you pull them into punishment or, to open the conversation, you actually think that they're not robots. They have kids, they have grandparents, they have responsibility. You have to do the detective work before you even open the question.
And that is what trigger collaboration is for.
Yeah.
To really understand what's going on, because we are not robots. And this is not me saying we're lowering the standard. You still need to do the work. You still gotta do your job. But maybe more understanding. Correct. It's just about being intentional, right? Okay, so here's what I want you all to do. At your tables, I would like you all to create 2 trigger collaboration questions. 2 trigger collaboration questions together. You all are gonna have about 3-4 minutes to do it. I know it's not enough time, but I wanna get your brains going because you don't have a lot of time to prep these conversations. So what you're gonna do is prep 2 trigger collaboration questions. That could be, is there something I'm missing? That could be, how is this landing for you? That could be, is there something we can do to help improve? Does that make sense? 2 trigger collaboration questions. Put it in your phone, you all collaborate, and then we'll come back. 2 trigger collaboration questions. Any questions on what we're doing? Trigger collaboration is to garner thoughts and co-create a solution. So just 2.
And they have their truck and trailer park into I said to her, I need to get this out of the street. She said,
Do you all have a question?
no, I'm not. I said, the problem is the Amazon guy couldn't get it just now. And we have orders. And this lady not Emily, but she's had the change.
So you typically want to have a baby that questions that you can ask someone to just start getting them talking more about it. So the situation doesn't happen. Correct. Yep. Like my go-to line.
How do we reduce the
I see that's not got a question.
Impact, but it would be.
So how, what, this all happened, then her son, who worked in the road, told me that I didn't.
I know, I think it's just.
And I said, wait, I am going to I don't have a problem with you getting things out, but it needs to be out of the road. He said, and again, I told you to go back in the house.
But I was trying.
Again, we're going to have another problem. You can't breathe with grace. So it's still
Questions that you can ask regardless of right? Like the opening the question, you can typically just talk. So like if I'm talking, doesn't matter if it's conversation, I'll pause, or let me pause. I was just like, what are you hearing? Because I want to also make sure that she's saying go, right? Like you gotta make sure. So just have some blanket questions. I love what you always do. You want them to talk. Yes.
garage, they can't park there. And so they're usually their spaces to be out and next door neighbors are their spaces.
Perfect. I can tell you when I say all the time now, people are like every time. Right?
I said, just so long as it's on the street.
And we'll just start by it. I love that. And we unpack it. Awesome. All right, y'all, we have about another minute left. Questions on you? Good? All right. How are we doing back here? We good? Questions? Okay. Are we good back here? Okay, awesome. Okay, wonderful people. All right. I would love to hear just a couple of questions that you all came up with. I will ask before volunteering. Which table wants to share one question that you all came up with? Let's see. All of no one? Okay, thank you. One, I can take one more table. Who wants to share a question they came up with? I saw your hand, thank you. All right. What is a question you all came up with?
Can we take a moment to unpack this?
Yes, I like that. Can we take a moment to unpack this? Now, you're going to have a follow-up question ready because they're going to be like, yeah. Some people are going to just start talking and other people are going to be like, yeah, we can unpack it. And you're like, crickets. So what's a good follow-up question?
Oh, we have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to put on the spot.
So the follow-up question is, what do you think are some ways to resolve this matter?
Love that. What do you think are some ways to resolve this matter? Add that to your questions bank. Love that. Thank you. This wonderful table.
We had several.
Oh, okay.
3 is major.
what do you see as a challenge with this process? That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. That's really good.
And then, is there something I can do to help you embrace this procedure or the process or the tags?
That's a great question, and something I coach leaders on to ask, especially when they're going through rifts. So if they're doing a reduction in force, like the information sucks. You lost your job. There's nothing we can do about that, but maybe I can help you embrace this process. Maybe I can make it a little easier for you. So that's a great question. Great question, everyone. Make sure you have a bank of questions that you can go to. Because what you don't want is just to be talking at someone. You don't want to use labels. You don't want to make sure they're not understanding, and you're not pausing for understanding. From an EEO perspective, this helps with liability. This helps mitigate risk when you know what they heard. So when you ask, hey, do you mind, I love to make sure I love to make sure my message is landing the way I intended. Do you mind recapping what you just heard me say? You'd be surprised what they heard. Okay? I learned this from parenting. You said I could never go again ever in life. I didn't even use that many words. No, I didn't say that. Okay? So make sure you're checking the temperature of their understanding. Yes and yes? Yes. Awesome. So when you get the feedback, then we gotta apply it. And this is for you to help teams apply it, but this is also for you to apply it. The one thing I'm gonna talk about is pick the one thing, and that's what I'm gonna tell you today. You all have learned so much today. So much. You talked about a lot. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I leave a meeting, a conference, I could be a little overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Choose the one thing. Choose the one thing, put a date on it. I'm going to implement this, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to do this within the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Choose the one thing. And then communicate the one thing. So go back with your teams. Hey, I went to this meeting, I went to this conference, this is what I learned, this is what I'm going to implement, this is when I want to implement it. What are your thoughts? That is how you start to build connection in a feedback-driven workplace culture. So, having said the one thing, I always say this: education without action is entertainment. And I'm here to entertain. I love having fun, okay? But this day meant nothing if you don't take action. We can listen to all the podcasts. I love a good podcast. We can read all the books, but if we do nothing with it, it was pure entertainment. So I want to invite you to stand with me, please. I want to invite everyone to stand with me, please. QR code, keep in touch with me if you choose. I would love to get your feedback on how you think today went. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If you scan the QR code and give the feedback, you get the framework as an automatic email, as well as like a little leadership assessment with things you can do to help improve. Having said that, here's what I want. I believe in saying things and releasing it into the atmosphere. I believe in clapping for myself because I already say it's done. I see me celebrating me as a part of action. So I'm going to say some words. I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. And afterwards, please, I want you to clap for yourselves because you know you're about to go implement some stuff. You are about to go change the game, okay? And whatever you do, you're going to know your superpower. You're going to exist and celebrate your brilliance, and we're going to impact lives, okay? So, repeat after me. I will give the feedback.
I will give the feedback.
Y'all sound a little dry. Let's try it again, okay? I will give the feedback.
I will give the feedback.
I will give feedback with clarity.
I will give feedback with clarity.
I will give feedback with consistency.
I will give feedback with consistency.
I will give feedback with courage.
I will give feedback with courage.
And I will give feedback with care.
I will give feedback with care.
Clap for yourselves. Now go have that conversation. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I'll be here if y'all have questions, but I know you're trying to get out of this Atlanta traffic. So thank you so much, everyone, for having me. Woo!
again, another round of applause for Amma. What a powerful and inspirational message. Yes, the F word is not scary in this context anymore because we all can give feedback and we will. So, I invite you to share with us what your experience has been with the annual meeting and the education session today. When you receive an email that has a certain